Hi everyone, I'm a science teacher with the Vancouver School Board, and I've put together this video to show teachers how I use OneNote in my science classroom. I started using it a few years ago and I've become a really big fan of it. I think it's a very useful tool to use. Alright, now time to show you around my OneNote notebook, or notebooks I should say. On the left, you take a look, here is the title of one of the notebooks, and I have a list of all my notebooks along the left here. And the way I've organized things is that each notebook will represent a course. And so here I'm in my Physics 12 course. Now the first thing you might notice is across the top we have tabs. The tabs, and the way I've organized it, is each tab represents a year. But they also represent different versions, and as I change things and move things around and add things and so on. And I also have for screencasts that I do. On the right, what we have is a list of pages, and each one of these represents a page. And so if I take a look at, for example, something like this, a page I'll have typed notes, I'll have written notes, and so on. What you choose to put on the page is up to you. You can insert photos, audio, draw things out, and so on. The way I organize things is at the top I usually put things to remember, things like items I want students to cover, homework, and so on. If you take a look at the organization of things and the way I've set things up, I've actually indented, and so all these will represent one lesson. And so in this lesson, students will be doing a kinematics quiz, and then I'll be going over the answers with them, explaining them what the answers are and how much questions are worth, and the breakdown of marks and so on. And after that, I'll have them work on a question just to test their knowledge, and this will probably be getting ready for a test or something like that. And then we have solutions and adding things like that. If we go to a different course, take a look at some of my science courses. Here we have Explore Vision. It's a project that I do with my Science 9s, and when I introduce it, what I've done is I've taken a snippet from the web, put it here as a picture, and then I will just introduce it and talk about the project. I also have a personal notebook, and in the personal notebook I'll have Pro D-Days and anything interesting I learn put here. It keeps track of what I've done, helps me stay a little bit organized. I have for tech committee and our minutes and agendas and so on go here. A really handy one is parent meetings. If I make any phone calls, contact with parents, or parent-teacher night, I'll actually put a blurb in here. And more now, the communication I have with parents is through email. And so if it's something that I want to remember, I'll actually go into Outlook, and if there's an email that I want to keep track of, what I'll do is send it directly into OneNote. And so if I do that, and I guess I just put it right here, and there we go. It's easy to build upon this, keep track of conversations back and forth. And so if you want to remember a conversation you had a while ago, we can search through mail, but this is a little bit quicker, and I really like the way this works out. Okay, now what I'll do is create a new page, and so here just add a page, and I'll call this my practice page. So I'll be able to add typing, copy and paste, and I'm able to draw. And as a physics teacher, I just love this part, to be able to do diagrams, to label, to write out solutions, and whatever I need to do. Now with this page, I can also do other things. Through the drawing tool, you can change the types of fonts, change the types of pens, you can do highlighter, and so on. What I would like to do is with graphs, and so when it comes to actually creating graphs, really quick and easy, draw things in. I can also change out the layout of the page, and so it doesn't have to be plain. I can use line paper if that's easier to write with. What I like to use a lot is graph paper, and it makes it much easier to draw things in. Now, if it's something that I'm happy with, and at the end of the lesson, often what I'll do is I'll export it and I can post it online for students. And you could share a notebook, but what I normally do is if any students come see me about any lessons that they've missed, I can easily email these lessons to them. And so just click email, and if you take a look, the format is actually kept pretty well. Even though there's drawings and so on, it'll email the students and it'll look just like this, and they actually don't need any specific app to look at this. As long as they have email, they'll be able to get the notes, and so this is a really handy thing to have. OneNote is available for both the Surface Pro 3 and the Mac and iPads and other devices. But we're mostly looking at what we're going to get on one of our laptop options. This example has been with the Surface Pro 3. There won't be a really big difference between this and the Mac. The formatting looks slightly different, the colors look slightly different, but you'll be able to sync between devices, and so whatever you do on one, it will show up on the other. The biggest difference that I find between the two is the use of the pen. In order to be able to write with the Mac, you'll either need a Wacom tablet for you to draw on, or you can draw on the actual trackpad, which isn't that big and isn't ideal, but it'll get a few things done. On the other hand, the Surface Pro 3 is fabulous at writing. The pen and its ability to write is one of the best that I've seen out there. It's really good, and it syncs into OneNote very well. And so when we're outside of OneNote and there's something that you want to get into OneNote quickly for, you just tap the top of the pen, the button, and it takes you automatically to OneNote, which I like. It's not that big a deal for me, but what is a big deal, one thing I just love, is to be able to just take pictures of my screen. It could be work that I'm working on, or it could actually be on a website. And so if there's something I want to take a picture of, I just double tap the button at the top of the pen for the Surface, and with a double click, I get this great screen, and then I highlight one section here, and then as soon as I do that, it copies it straight into OneNote. This is just very, very useful. And then from here, I can annotate it and write on it or highlight whatever I need to do. Now I'm going to highlight a couple more features. One thing I like a lot is to be able to write and I don't always have the neatest writing in the world, so to be able to convert that into text is awesome. I really like that. And one of the best tools, I guess it depends on what we like to do, but with OneNote, I keep all my pages, all my notebooks on one place, and so previously finding something could have been a challenge. Now with the search bar that I have here, you type in a term, a word, and it'll search through all your notebooks, through your tabs, and find whatever you're looking for very quickly. So I hope this gives you an idea of how I use OneNote in my science classroom, and I'm also hoping that it gives you some ideas on how you might use OneNote yourself.